What's up, everybody? It's Ryan Leahy. Um, I'm recording my testimony because I can. So let's get right into it. I was born on January 24th, 2003, and I became interested in weather starting in 2011 when I was 8 years old. I'm eight. So that was on May 22nd, 2011. Not from what you think it is. Instead of the Joplin tornado, there were a few tornadoes up in northern Illinois, and I saw them on TV, and I thought, oh wow, this is really cool. Um, that's really how I got started. At least that was just sort of a little interest. It wasn't really much. I mean, I really watched the Weather Channel in 2011, 2012, and I was kind of on and off. Usually, I'd only be interested in it in the spring and the summertime during tornado season. But I do remember tracking Hurricanes Irene and Sandy with the Weather Channel and watching It Could Happen Tomorrow. That was really the first show that really that was another big moment. Seeing some of the images and sort of that thing of disasters, and it was just fascinating at the time. uh then it really kind of fell out for a little bit, like for a couple of years. And then in 2014 I sort of got a renewed interest in tornado tracking. In On April 28th of that year, a huge tornado outbreak hit the southeastern United States, and I just remember seeing like boxes next to boxes. I mean, it was yeah, there were a lot of tornadoes, and I just thought that previous thought that tornadoes are just sort of isolated events. Now I didn't know that they, there were a bunch of them could happen at the same time. So that really reignited my interest, and it became really the big first huge weather fixation that I had. I mean, I binge watched documentaries and YouTube videos on all sorts of tornadoes of the past. Um, and then afterwards, I started tracking tornadoes every spring, every summer. At the same time, during this phase between 2014 and 2017, I really had this storm phobia type thing, where I would love tracking storms remotely, when I'm not in them, but like when like my house is about to get hit by a storm, I would freak out. I got over that really in 2017, when I realized, that a lot that the chances of something catastrophic happening were most of the time very small. So yeah, in 2015, the one of the strongest tornadoes in Illinois history happened. The Rochelle Fairdale EF4 tornado. Really, that only happened like 40 miles away from my house. So it was 2015 was really the first big year of tornado tracking. I feel like, because that was there were a lot of big tornadoes, especially in my neck of the woods. However, I did segue into tracking the tropics for a brief period of time. I remember tracking the 2015 Atlantic hurricane season, and particularly Hurricane Patricia. Hurricane Patricia, I don't remember much about it. It was just, I just knew it was the strongest storm ever, and that was basically it. So I just remember hearing that on like the news. It wasn't like seriously tracking anything, like constantly monitoring or anything. So yeah, 2016 kind of not really a whole lot happened, and then 2017 I kind of got back into it. I got some radar software, which let me track tornadoes. I got it in the summer of 2017. However, I then tracked Hurricane Harvey with the software, and that is how I segued into tropical storm or tropical cyclone tracking. I tracked Irma and Maria next, and then I didn't really become seriously into it until October. I think Nate, Ophelia, And Typhoon Lan was the first storm that I tracked outside of the Atlantic Basin. And then I became, into worldwide tropical cyclone tracking. Really, ever since that moment, I discovered Force 13 at the same time. Uh, what really, got me into, worldwide tropical cyclone tracking, believe it or not, was watching Hurricane Week 2017, the previous Hurricane Week before this one. It's hard to believe that, it's been such a long time. But yeah, I discovered Force 13 in 2017, became a huge fan afterwards. Like, throughout 2018, I'd say almost all of my free time was watching Force 13 videos or just cyclone tracking. I became obsessed with it like I had never been with anything else in my life. So yeah, and I got kind of bored, just tracking it by myself. So I joined the Discord server on September 2nd, 2018. There were only like 100 people in there back then, or I think even less than that, maybe even like only like 70 or something. It was a very, very small group. I kind of liked it that way, but whatever. Then I became a patron later, after the really things started to die down. It was November of 2018. I became a patron and started donating money to the project because I just loved it so much and I wanted to do whatever I could to help. And then Force 13 week happened in 2018, and that's really the moment that I realized this is great. I've missed out, I felt like I was just missing out on something. So I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna be a Force 13 member, okay? I'm going to be a Force 13 team member. And that's when I had my mindset on it. So 2019 came along, and well, that's what happened. You know, I was really shy in the beginning, and I wasn't entirely sure, what I wanted to do, or like, if I wanted to, do Force 13, like make sure that I wanted to do it and stay consistent with it, not just kind of get in there and leave, like some people do, but I wanted to stick with it. So yeah, February 2019 was the first big milestone. That was my first live stream. It was a tornado outbreak in the uh, Southeast United States. It was February 23rd, 2019. And I was also with Ethan. He made his debut on the same live event. And yeah, it was really fun and experience. And I, came back that spring, that spring of 2019. It was just constant severe weather tracking. And it was like we had the perfect team. It was me, Ethan, Tim, Thomas. Sometimes David would chime in whenever he had some social media news. It was a really fun time. I think that was my favorite moment of the project, to be honest, is just the amount we grew so close to each other because we would go live every other day. Um, Probably a bit excessive, I think most of us can uh, say in retrospect, but yeah, we did it so frequently that I even had an opportunity to present a live stream, and I did on April 30th, when I received and it was my performance was, let's just say, acclaimed by most of the team, and I was promoted to a full member on May 5th, 2019, a position I held for about a year, and I took a break in early 2020, and now I'm no longer a member, but whatever. um, but yeah, I tracked, the past 2 years now. It's been 2 years with Force 13. Just about. I consider it to be 2 years, and it's been a great time, storm tracking and, whatnot. And I am so glad to be a part of this amazing project, and I hope to continue to really, how do I say this? Watch the project grow and even myself grow with the project in 2021 and beyond. So thank you. Thank you for listening to this 10-minute long testimony. Bye. Enjoy Hurricane Week.